Oh, hi! Thanks for stopping by my kitchen. You came just in time because I was just about to start a mini meal prep section. My name is Katrina Brink with the Empowered Kitchen, and we are going to be roasting these vegetables today. We all know that when we get home from work, a lot of times we just don't want to cook. If we have a few things on hand that are already mostly prepared, we're probably much more likely to throw them together to make a really good meal. I have an eggplant, some carrots, a few tomatoes, and some beets that are a little past their prime, getting a little bit squishy, and I will show you how to roast all of these. Those beets will be just fine roasted and tasty in some dishes. How I like to cook beets, how I like to roast them, it's kind of steaming them really in the oven. What I will do is I'll put them in one of these little tins. You can do a bigger one too, I just have these little ones, and put a little water in them, and just like a 1/4 inch of water in the bottom, or a 1/2 inch. You can even cut them in half if you want to, or you can leave them whole. This way they steam and the skins come right off. You need to cover them in order to steam them. So I take a little bit of aluminum foil and I cover those tightly, and those will go in there for, I would check them in about 30 minutes, and it might take a little bit longer, but go ahead and see how they are in 30 minutes. So they have come out of the oven, and you can see this one I just peeled and it's still steaming a little bit. I'm not sure if you can see that. So you want to be careful, they are kind of hot, but what you can do now is pretty much just slip these skins of the beets right off. You can cut these up and put them in a little container, and I would like to put them on a salad tomorrow. It's really good on an egg sandwich for breakfast with some eggs and sometimes sweet potato or beet. That's really good. Or you could put them in risotto, on top of pasta, lots of different things. And this will stain your clothes, so be very careful with the beet skins. Don't get it on your clothes. I'm not wearing an apron, which might not be the best idea. So just be aware of that, and it stains your fingers, but it'll come off. I will cut the top off of our eggplant, and then just to make it roast a little faster, I will cut it down the middle. You can also roast it whole if you'd like, that's no problem. And just coat it in a little bit of olive oil. And we'll do a little salt and pepper on there. So I highly recommend that as a great cooking technique. That's a really simple way to get started if you're new to cooking. Pretty much foolproof. You can burn them, which I have done in the past, but if you keep an eye on it, you should be good to go. We'll just cut these in half as well, these tomatoes, put them on our tray. I'll put them on a separate tray actually so that I can take them out because they will be done well in advance of our eggplant. I also added some whole garlic cloves in the skin to our pan, and we'll roast those with the tomatoes so that we have those to add to our pasta as well. So I'll get this all in our 400-degree oven, and I'll see you in a bit. And I'll just take a spoon to scrape out the flesh. I'll go ahead and make a sauce with tomato and eggplant for pasta, but I will save the other half to make a baba ganoush for another dish, so I don't get bored eating the same thing all week. We'll go ahead and get this kind of cut up a little bit. We have our garlic and our tomato, and I'm just going to combine all of those things in a pan, add a splash of wine and some salt and pepper, and kind of cut up our garlic a little bit and make a sauce. These are going to make a carrot soup, so they just need to be roasted and then they'll be blended up in a soup anyway. Make sure that you brush them well, you wash them well with a vegetable brush. I typically don't peel them. If I were to peel them, I would save those peels and use them to add to a vegetable stock or something like that. I have one of my favorite spice blends. It's a Middle Eastern spice blend called Ras Al Hanout, and I love it. It's so good. So that will make a really nice soup. We could even put apples in there. I do have some apples, so it could be a carrot apple soup. I might experiment. We'll see. I don't know yet. First, I cut it in half, and I cut it this way. I cut through the root. So, cut through the root. Peel off the skin pretty easily. You can take that skin off. And I will discard this into a pile I'll use for my either compost or a stock. I like to try to use it as much as I can first, so I'll put that into a stock. Cut this into slices. So I'd cut down, but not all the way through the onion, not through the root. And this way I'll have nice slices, and I'm going to caramelize these in a hot pan to get them ready. I just do it right in the stock pot where I'm going to make the soup. So these will be ready for when our carrots come out of the oven and are all roasted. So now we have nice slices, mostly. Our next step is to put our onions into our hot pan that has oil that's already heated up in it. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in there. Cook them on like medium or medium low for a while until they're nice and caramelized. And our carrots are nearly finished. While these onions are getting started, I will go ahead and put a little bit of our Ras El Hanout spice blend and a bit of salt and let that just develop its flavors, and then we'll add our carrots and make our soup. Now we have our roasted carrots, and I'm going to just cut them up a little bit and put them in with our onions that have started caramelizing. So I'm putting everything in the pot, and we'll add some, if I had broth I would add broth, but I don't have any ready, so I'll just go ahead and add a little bit of water. So I brought our soup to a boil, and I just lowered it to a little bit above a simmer so that it will continue cooking, but it's not going to boil and evaporate all that water. You don't want it to cook that fast. Now that our soup has simmered for a while, I'm going to take my trusty immersion blender, and you have to make sure the bottom is under the water, so it's immersed in the water. That's how it works. And I will be able to blend everything in here to make a puree. So I'll go ahead and get that started. So we are now ready to wrap up. We have our soup all pureed and nicely cooked. I'm going to add a little bit of coconut milk and mix that in there, along with a dash of lemon juice. So we'll squeeze our lemon juice, put in there. Gives it that great zing that brings all the flavors together. And so I'll stir this up and we'll be just about ready. We've made our roasted beets, our tomato sauce, and our carrot apple kind of Middle Eastern flavored soup. So I will freeze about half of this, so I'll have some meals for next week or the week after when I feel like having soup again, and the rest I will eat either today or tomorrow. I would finish this off with a dollop of either yogurt or sour cream, probably a full-fat plain yogurt, and a few drizzles of pomegranate molasses, and you'll have a fantastic soup. If you have some seeds, some roasted butternut squash seeds or something like that, you could throw those on top too and have a lovely gourmet soup. And I hope you enjoyed this edition of The Empowered Kitchen. I'm Katrina, and I will see you in the next video.